So we are back with another news episode. It has been a while, Chase, that's for sure, because there has not really been that much news for us to talk about. But as with all things, out of nowhere, Hollywood just decides to drop massive bombshells, and so there has been a ton of news that we're here and we're happy to share with everyone today.
Yeah, man. I was looking at it, and at first I thought it was just a couple things, like, Toy Story 5 coming out, that sort of thing. I was like, dude, everything dropped all at once. And it's been a minute because the last one I think we had was the CinemaCon news episode. So
It's
looking
been a
forward to
while.
diving into this, man. It's good
Hell
stuff.
yeah. So let's jump right into it because there is so much to get to. And we're going to start off with everyone's latest obsession. Obsession and Backrooms absolutely destroying the box offices. I mean, unbelievably crushing. So Obsession has made over $286 million globally on a $750,000 budget. And as of yesterday, June 18th, it crossed the $300 million worldwide mark. It is now, Obsession is now Focus Features' highest grossing film of all time, having passed 200 million globally. It already held the title for Focus Features' highest grossing domestic film, and now it's also the highest grossing film Focus Features has ever produced. And Obsession also achieved a very rare feat by actually increasing its box office numbers in its second week rather than dropping off like most films do. Obsession also dropped just 7% in ticket sales in its fourth week in theaters, with its $25.6 million in sales, setting a record for the best fourth weekend hold ever for a horror movie. Fucking insane, dude. And the $25.6 million fourth weekend is the highest grossing fourth weekend ever for a horror movie as well. The previous record holder, this is interesting, was the Blair Witch Project, and that made 24 million in its fourth week with a 9% drop off compared to Obsession's 7% drop off and 25.6 million. Just like, dude. And Obsession is the first film since E.T. to increase its revenue in its second and third week in theaters, which I thought that was a cool little nugget of information. Then we have Backrooms. So Backrooms has hauled in more than $212 million globally on a $10 million budget. The director is also the youngest, Kane Parsons. He's the youngest director ever to reach a global absolute phenomenon and to be the number one box office film of multiple weeks. He's the youngest director ever. He's only 21 years old to do that, which is pretty insane. And so Backrooms is now the record holder for A24's highest grossing opening weekend film, and it also became the studio's highest grossing worldwide release. And then also, Backrooms broke records in its opening weekend for A24 in 41 different countries. This is like, this is just fucking insane, dude. Like, what are your thoughts on this? These are YouTubers that are coming out and absolutely demolishing Hollywood legends. Like, these movies are going up against Spielberg and destroying them again and again and again. And this is now, it's like fifth week or sixth week in theaters, and they're extending it because it's been doing so well for Obsession at least. And it's just unbelievable. It's like, what are your thoughts on this? And like these YouTubers kind of coming out and dominating Hollywood.
Well, I think my initial thought is don't overthink this because what it comes down to is, I mean, we're YouTubers ourselves. YouTubers know what it takes just to tell a good story. You don't have to have crazy effects or really try to push an agenda or have all this crazy lighting or CGI to get across to win an audience. And like I personally saw Obsession, I still got to see Backrooms. And the greatest thing about it was just a story we could relate to. Like we'll get into this when it'll have its own episode with Backrooms at some point, I'm sure, here on Talk Fantasy to Me
I
podcast.
gotta see it.
But it really told a story that's relatable. And I think YouTubers coming in to the director of film space here, they know what it's like for competition being in the YouTube world, because it's a very competitive world with young creators like ourselves that are pushing for their own content to be noticed. And generally, in order to be competitive to do that, you have to push a really good story. So what it comes down to is these YouTube directors are focused just on telling a really good story here and not on all the other outside bullshit, which is what a lot of directors have been doing lately. And focused also on, like, CGI technology or whatever it takes to try to win an audience. And I think these tell a story of stop trying to win an audience and just tell your story. And if you know it's good, then the audience is going to know it's good. You don't need a crazy budget to do that.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you bring up there about trying to, not exactly win over the audience, but tell your story, because established Hollywood executives are not happy with what's been happening. Some of them are. Like Spielberg actually came out and said he loves it. He thinks it's wonderful that people are actually finding their way into Hollywood, that the old heads are trying to put their wall up, and these guys are not. Like, you have Markiplier, then you have with Iron Lung, then you have Kane Parsons now with Backrooms, and Curry Barker with Obsession. They're knocking down these walls to Hollywood that have been up for forever. And so now it's making it much more accessible for anyone to get their name out there, and potentially, if they have a good story to tell, to make it into Hollywood and actually get their film made. And so a lot of these Hollywood execs have been expressing frustrations over these content creator led films and how they're disrupting Hollywood. It's like many of them are under the belief that these movies are not art in the traditional sense, and they're simply trendy films without true filmic literacy or artistic narrative or genuine theatrical techniques. They're just content creators, is what they're saying. And in other words, it's kind of like the established members of Hollywood feel like the studios are focusing more on popularity than on the actual art of filmmaking. And so it's interesting that you bring this up, because in my mind, I see it like that. I think that the YouTubers know what's popular, they know what's on trend and what people actually give a shit about, and they don't necessarily care so much about ideologies and their telling their story and their art and their perspective. It's like, no, what do audiences like? What do they want to see? What would I want to see as a creator? And then that's what they're doing, and that's why they're so damn successful. Because I mean, the old heads are like, we do things one way. We're all about the film and cinema, and everything has to be very artistic. And I'm like, art is subjective, right? So this is art, and it's just a different kind. And I think personally, they just feel threatened, and I think that's where a lot of this is coming from.
Yeah, and just one more piggybacking off of that, I think too, it's going on what you say about this is art. Like, I think new creators now that like are in our world, like the YouTube world, our podcasting world,
Mm-hmm.
they know what art is. In fact, in a way, I kind of give them more respect because what they've done is been able to merge the world of content creation and art. So it's not so overshadowed by,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I need a crazy pan to get the audience's attention. Even crazier is the fact that they've pushed the limits so much, which is why YouTube and podcasting has kind of blown up in the past 10 years and, shot to the moon, because you're blending the line of cinema and content creation, because in there you will have a crazy pan. Like, even on some of our stuff, on our shorts and stuff, it'll have a crazy pan to whatever's being referenced in Harry Potter or Game of Thrones or whatever the fuck we're talking about, right? Or cinema, whatever. But then you're back to what what the story is going on there. So you're not so captivated by, let's make this an artistic artourism style. These people are pushing the limits for what's there. And to piggyback off your last point, I think what it comes down to is a lot of these directors have been basically family fed what they're given. They've basically been given it, the position they're in through, you know, almost, I don't want to say it's like all handed down, because people do earn their spot, But what happens is, just like you said, they basically become lazy and complacent that they're owed a spot there, and they forget the fact that when you're in that industry, you should always be competing to be the best. And what happens is they're only thinking about big names adjacent of themselves, such as if I am, you know, say if you're some big director like the Coen brothers, usually you're thinking about Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese or, Spielberg, someone like that. They're not thinking about these new up and coming creators that can really blur the line in their industry that could kick them out the door. And I think that's also what it comes down to is, um, even in a regular job, you always got to be watching for who the next new kid on the block is that can kick your ass out, and that's kind of what's happening.
Well, it's interesting because in a lot of, if you ever watch Curry Barker's skits that he used to do, because he was, before all of this, people are like, who is this guy? He just popped on the scene. Well, he's actually been around for a long time on social media, and a lot of his videos are just, they're unbelievably funny, but they always have a super dark undertone, and their endings usually have some horror twist ending of chaos, and you're like, holy shit. And he actually directed some shorts like Milk and Cereal and The Haunted Chair on, and you can go see those on YouTube. So he has experience in horror, and he's done several other shorts as well. And comedy and horror kind of intertwine in a lot of ways. So it's not like unheard of that he was able to come up with this idea. But I think where the difference comes in between what Hollywood does and what these people are doing is they want in Hollywood, like the old heads, the big directors, they have their artistic vision, and that's exclusively what they will stick to, regardless of whether people want it. Like audience members actually want to see it. They want to do their art. They want to make their art. And I think, they're absolutely they should, but you cannot be like, okay, I want to make my art and then it not be successful and then get mad at someone who is making their art as they claim, the content creators, but they're focused more on what's popular and what's trending, what people will actually like, what audiences will want to come see. And then they're really successful. The ones who are making their art and aren't successful should not get mad at those who are making their art in a different way and are successful. I think there's room for both. And I think that with content creators coming in and having their finger on the pulse of society and culture, I think they're going to create real competition, which is good for Hollywood because it has, like you said, it has really lacked competition. You've got a lot of these big name directors, and they have free will. They literally, you can go have free reign and go whatever they want to make, they can make it. There's not much standing in their way. But with these content creators coming up, they have to have something really special, really strong story, and get creative in how they can get it made. And this one had such a tiny ass budget. And so they had to get very creative in how they made it. And so most of the people had to wear many hats, which leads us into this next part of the story that is really interesting with Obsession. And it does spark a little bit of a debate about exactly what we're talking about. But we have an art director, Sally Choi, who sparked an industry-wide debate online after revealing that she made roughly $6,700, which equates to around $300 per day for 20 days of work, which on the movie obviously has grossed now $300 million worldwide. So that's a tiny initial budget that they had to work with, but they ended up grossing $300 million. Sally said that she had to wear many hats working as a PA, a set dresser, a graphic designer, a background actor, a driver, swing, and buyer. She said she lost significant weight and incurred health issues due to her being overworked. She also noted that some people who worked on the movie were volunteers, and they basically lost money working on the film because they had to use money out of their own pockets for travel expenses and other things. Sally Choi's posts aim to kind of incite some sort of industry reform and encourage better negotiation and profit-sharing deals for crew members up front. But director Curry Barker directly addressed the controversy because, of course, he got asked about it in an interview. And he said, I have nothing but respect for the art department, and the work they did was extraordinary. Everybody on this film worked so hard, and they deserve to be recognized. This movie was made for so little money that it's typical that the only people who directly benefit from its financial success are the people who took on some sort of risk. But what I hope is that every person that worked really hard on this film will see opportunities to catapult their careers in ways that can be very financially fruitful for them, like what's happening for me, as in Curry Barker. So many industry peers and commentators have noted that the low budget independent films often operate on fixed daily rates, and massive successes are the rare exception rather than the rule. Many fans and commentators have criticized Choi for publicly claiming and complaining about a contract that she signed with an agreed upon rate that she willingly accepted before the project's release. Supporters of Sally argue that the current Hollywood distribution model heavily favors studios, and crew members should ideally receive windfall bonuses or incentives when a low budget movie unexpectedly blows up at the box office. So, where do you stand on this issue? I know it's a bit of a controversial one. Like, do you think Sally's right to some extent, or is this situation more nuanced than she's making it out to be?
I sit somewhere in the middle because, in a way, $6,000. The catch is for, looking at the average salary or average hourly rate. $300. You know, a, is it three
A
hundred a
day.
day? Right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot more than what most people make.
Yeah.
But then in comparison to the profit lines of what this movie made, that is really low. However, what I'll say though is this movie was never expected to make that. Like you knew what you were signing on for when you did this. And I used to actually work with a lot of people in movie studios and production studios, and they're kind of like hermit crabs, like once a job's done, they jump over to another one. They kind of like space out the years. Not like normal jobs like you and I would work where you're kind of in that job for usually at least like 5 years before you jump
Indefinitely.
or whatever. Like they
Yeah.
kind of jump like every like 6 months or something like that. Um, I see how this could make you upset because it is true. Like she probably will never see any of this extra money, especially how it keeps increasing in the box office and just pouring in dollar bills, right?
Mhm.
But what it does do for her is just like the director was saying, is now just like him, people are seeing like Obsession, you hear that name now and it clicks a keyword in your brain. And if someone puts it on their resume, they're like, "Oh shit." Like that's like Obsession. It's almost like people, I like something that kind of hits home here. It's like working at Disney or like a major company like Disney or Comcast or something like that. Usually they will pay their employees lower because if you ever do leave, when someone sees Disney on a resume, they're like, "Oh shit." Well, yeah, I'm putting your resume on the top of this stack of 2000 just because it says Disney on it. Like that person might have worked a fucking popcorn stand, but because it says Disney on it and you went to podunk nowhere to apply, you're going to be put on the top of the stack.
Right.
So it's hard to say. I sit in the middle. Looking from a profit margin perspective, right? It doesn't seem fair with all the money the movie's making. However, it's really not right what she's doing, I would say, because you agreed to that contract beforehand, and $300 a day. I mean, that's more than what the average person makes
Geez,
hourly.
$6,746 in 20 days of work.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty fucking good. Like, I mean, that's pretty fucking good. Now, I'm not rich. Someone watching this is probably like, "That's fucking terrible. I made 20,000 last hour." That's why I'm working on gambling, guys. Don't worry. I'm hoping it pays off. But my point being is, I think a solution to this that maybe they should start adding into some of these clauses is like bonuses, almost like they do in NFL contracts or NHL contracts and stuff like in playoffs and stuff like that. Like say this movie, even if it wasn't supposed to be anything big, right? You can put in the contract hey, if it makes this amount of money in the box office, drastically exceeds expectations, is they're longer in the box office than expected, then you might get like an extra $1,000 or like another 1,000 here for like every week it's there or something like that. I think a solution like that would really change things because they do that a lot in sports. Like if a team makes playoffs or the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup or the NBA championship, stuff like that, they do. Whereas if that team sucks all year, that player is not going to see any of that fucking money. Antonio Brown didn't see any of that money when they went to the Super Bowl because his ass fucking quit halfway through the season. So I think that's where it could change. However, I sit in the middle because I think this movie has made a ton of money. So yeah, you could probably find a little extra coin to throw her at some point. But at the same time, you signed the contract, so I don't think it's right. You're coming out publicly against the people that put you on the map. You should have used that to your advantage, and it's never good to burn bridges, which is kind of what she's doing here because she's throwing a fit over it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that in this case, it's the wrong move what she did. You don't come out publicly and complain about the project that basically is going to be launching your career, because especially when it's still in theaters and making tons of money, and this is convenient timing to make this post. And I'm not saying she's entirely wrong. I'm saying in the way that she went about it, I think is the wrong way. I think this is something you could potentially bring to the attention of people who also worked on the project. And she mentioned that she tried to flip the set and turning them into a union. But unions are, I don't know whether you support them or not, unions can cause a lot of problems and end up shutting down entire film productions. So there were a lot of people on the set that were like, no, don't do a union. This is like a $750,000 budget movie. We don't think it's going to be anything crazy anyway when they're making it. And so no one would have known it would blow up this way. So this to me reads as like a hindsight 2020. Oh, now the movie's doing so well that I'm like, oh, how can I get more money out of this? But you signed a contract willingly and you didn't negotiate for any sort of bonus like you're suggesting. That's something that most people, that if you're going to do that, you have to negotiate that with the studio if you're working with them. And it's not so simple. I'm not saying it's that easy, because a lot of times if you start negotiating hard and playing hardball with these executives, they're going to be like, we'll just find someone else. Like, goodbye. We'll find someone else who will do it for this price. Now, this individual is relatively new onto the scene as well. They've only, on IMDb at least, according to IMDb, they've only worked on one other movie. So, like, this is this person's second movie, and you're already bringing this stuff up. And you had, like, it's like when people are really established and well known in the industry, they get paid more. But when you're new, you don't exactly get paid the same amount as some of these other people that have been there and they're established. So if this is your second movie that you've worked on and it exploded like this, you should be celebrating the fact that you got to play a part in it. Now, I understand the movie has made a lot of money, but as Curry Barker said, he's 100% right. This movie was made with a tiny budget. The people that benefit the most from it in terms of financials are the ones who took the biggest financial risks to make this happen. They have to get their money back because they're the ones who invested much more risk. If this movie didn't work out, you wouldn't see this tweet from this individual, because as an art director, she wouldn't be like the main person to blame for this movie not doing well. It would be Curry Barker. It would be the writers. It would be everyone else who had a major part in making this production. Obviously, art directors are very important, but they wouldn't be the main ones on the chopping block. She could still go get another job. If this didn't work out, Curry Barker's ass would be done. If this one didn't work, this is his first movie and it bombed and it was horrible, no one would want to work with him. Like, he's a YouTuber, stick to YouTube, like that kind of thing. But she could go get another job. But this, I feel like, draws a lot of negative attention to a movie with so much positivity and so much momentum around it. And then you drop this one to make it sound like the production and the set was like a nightmare and everyone was going crazy. I'm like, well, it's an independent film where this is the norm. Multiple people wear multiple hats, like even the director and the writers. They're involved in the movie in other areas as well as what they normally would do. So I just don't see this as a fair criticism in that regard because it's a small independent movie and no one had any way of knowing how much it would blow up. So like hindsight 2020, yeah, I wish I negotiated a better deal is what that reads to me is I wish I got more money on the back end. On the flip side of that, yeah, I think it would be wonderful if studios would give bonuses to people who had like the biggest impact on the success of the film post the film's production. Because when you look at the number of people it takes to make a movie, if they gave bonuses to every single person involved in every movie, I don't think the studios would be able to make any money. Because there's like you just sit there at the end credits of like a Marvel movie and your head explodes. And you're like, there's literally like 100,000 names going across that screen. And you think of all those people and then how much money the movie makes. If you were to divide that up, then the studios don't make any money. So what's their incentive for making more movies like this in the future? If they can't make money themselves, then they can't provide jobs. It kind of goes into that like that whole debate and conversation of the rich people versus the poor people. Like, should you tax the shit out of the rich? Or like, it's that whole debate, but like rich people provide jobs. So it's like, as much as you may not like them, they're at least providing jobs where people can get a job with them and make their own money and maybe become rich in some capacity with smart money management, unlike Chase with his betting. So they have, there's ways to do this, I think, to make everyone happy. But I think that she put herself in a really bad position and might have screwed herself out of future opportunities because people are going to look at this and say, well, if we hire you, if you sign a contract with us, are you going to then talk out about your contract and how you made a mistake and you should have negotiated more money later? They're not going to want to fuck around with that stuff. So I don't know, man. It is a very nuanced situation because I do agree they make so much money. The studios should reward the people who made the film what it is. But I think there's a limit to that because you can't go overboard and then the studios not make any money and then you don't have a studio to make a movie and then there's no jobs for anybody anymore. So it's kind of like I don't know, it's a weird one. It's a tough one. And for that to come out when there's so much positive momentum with this film is kind of messed up. And I know that was intentional, obviously. So
No, I was just gonna say the last thing about this is like, and if you had something like that to say, you do that shit in private. Like you could have called someone up and then they could have called somebody.
mhm.
You don't go like write a thesis and tell People magazine. Like what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it could have been handled better. I think there's a conversation to be had there for sure. But the way that it was done in this case, it's not going to help her career. And because like if she would have just talked to them internally, and then the public didn't have to know about this situation, then her having obsession on her resume would be like, holy shit, you worked on one of the best movies ever. Like people are freaking out about this movie, just an absolute record breaker. But now they're going to be like, oh, you're that person who worked on Obsession. You're going to cause trouble on our set, aren't you? So like, we don't trust you. She might have just absolutely burned every bridge known to man for herself. And, I don't know, maybe that was her intention. Maybe it works out. I have no idea. I just think it was kind of a risky move and it could have been handled better for sure. So like,
Sure.
yeah, on that subject though, because we're talking about all the money that Obsession made, Curry Barker has now signed an 8-figure deal to write, direct, and produce a new original horror film for Universal. Jason Blum and James Wan are attached as producers for Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, respectively. This comes after Curry Barker announced his second horror film, Anything But Ghosts, that is about a ghost investigator crew that scams people until they come face to face with a real evil entity. Something that we've seen before, but in typical Curry Barker fashion, he's going to do something crazy with it. And it's going to make it totally unique, which is exactly what he did with Obsession. Obsession was a plot line we've seen many times over again, but the way that he turned it into his own thing makes it completely unique. So that's what I expect to happen here. And Curry also announced that he's writing and directing a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that will be a spiritual remake of the original film, but more brutal and emotionally grounded and really focusing on the disgusting, fucked up family dynamic even more than the original did. So you can look out for that. And that is proof that, like, yeah, I know he's the director and he's truly the face of this because it is his story. It was his baby that he created with his best friend. And, like he should benefit from it. And I think everyone else that worked on that film should benefit from it as well, in terms of now they're going to get greater opportunities. But Sally she might have tanked her case a little bit, unfortunately. Hopefully not. I don't know her, but we'll see. Then let's move on to Spider-Man, because we had Spider-Man Brand New Day and the Odyssey. Their tickets went on sale for the pre-sale on AMC, on Regal, on all the places. And if you have A-List or any of those other reservation services through any of these movie theaters, the ticket experience was interesting to say the least. And Spider-Man, because of all of this, Spider-Man Brand New Day now has the fourth highest grossing ticket pre-sales of all time for any movie, which is not entirely surprising based on the experience that we had. So what was your experience like, Chase, trying to get these tickets through A-List? How long did you have to queue for each of them?
Yeah, man. And what I'll say real quick, going back to anything but Ghost that you mentioned, the director for Obsession did say somewhere in there, in that movie, there's going to be an Easter egg for whatever happened after Obsession.
He
So
did say it's in the
be,
universe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting how they're doing the universe thing. So now go into the Marvel universe, like you were talking about Spider-Man. My experience was a lot better than getting Odyssey tickets, but I did have
That's
to
true.
wait. I had to wait like about an hour in the queue, maybe in the morning, which is funny. Thank God I noticed it because I just woke up and randomly I checked the AMC app and it was like, there's a queue line. I'm like, why the fuck is there a queue line? I just got Odyssey tickets. And then it clicked in my head that Spider-Man tickets went on sale. If I didn't check the app randomly, just seeing what was coming out over the weekend, I could have been fucked. So,
That makes
I
two
mean,
of
I was
us.
glad I
You
found
saved
it.
my
Yeah.
ass too.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
texted you immediately when I
Yeah. I'm
got it.
like,
And I was
holy
like,
shit. All
"Oh
right.
shit!" Yeah.
Yeah, and no,
So, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible.
no, the Odyssey was crazy though, because it started off saying you have an hour long wait, and then it would drop to like 45 minutes, and then it would shoot back up to an hour, and then it would drop to 20 minutes, then it would go back up to an hour again. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this thing? And it was over and over. It literally took over an hour just to get into the app. That's all the queue was. It wasn't even the queue to get those tickets. It wouldn't even let us into the app itself. You had to wait for like an hour to just get into the app, and then you had to rush and find your movie time and get tickets for it, which thankfully we both did. I just don't understand how I do the reminder, like to set a reminder for a movie, and they don't work. Like it's not telling me when tickets are becoming
I
available.
didn't either.
Yeah, it didn't alert me at all for Spider-Man or the Odyssey. Thankfully I was keeping the Odyssey. I knew that the tickets were going to go on sale in the state. I saw something on it online. But for Spider-Man, I had no idea. I never got an alert until you texted me. I'm like, holy shit, man, you saved my ass.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I had no idea either. I just like, talk about a higher power kind of thing. Just randomly, like, you know what? Let's see what's going on. I'm not doing anything in these next 15 minutes. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But
Totally saved
yeah,
my ass.
I think a thing about the Odyssey tickets too was, so I already had my app open before the queue started.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, nice. Fuck yeah. I'm already in here. I beat the game. Well, they like figured that out. Because remember, I was talking to you about it. Like, I guess they didn't turn the queue on until later or something.
Mhm.
So I was trying to get tickets and it was saying all these seats were available. And then you'd click on it and go to check out. And it's like not available. So then I had to go all the way back out and go back in the queue. So AMC got smart about that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
They were doing their best to block people from jumping the line. How bad do you think Doomsday is going to be though when those tickets go on sale for Doom and Dune 3?
Dude, oh my gosh. No telling, man.
It might actually shut the app down entirely. It might crash it.
Dude, like, and just think about that. If Odyssey and Spider-Man were this bad and Doomsday is Doomsday, is how they're saying it. We've been talking about this for almost like a year.
Yeah.
Dude. That's gonna be horrible. I mean, thank God A-list allows you to see 4 movies because when you book one of those, it takes up one of the spots.
Yeah.
I might not have
But
any spots left.
well,
Like, what
they
the
do.
fuck?
It's interesting how they do it now, though. You can reserve a future movie, and it moves it into a separate category, so it doesn't
Oh,
affect your
okay.
weekly 4 movies. Thankfully, because that would
Oh, I
suck.
didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
good.
hmm
Okay,
So,
that's nice.
but it's gonna be wild, dude. Like we're gonna have to be on there, like, oh my god, refreshing every second. Like, how do we get tickets?
Open the
It's
fuck
gonna
back up,
crash the
man.
app.
Open the fuck back up.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna crash. But so keeping the Spider-Man theme here, so the Spider-Man final trailer was released today, and it was epic, dude. It kind of pissed me off because I'm like, why are you showing so much of the movie? That's what they all do now. And I feel like it kind of ruined a lot of things that I was wondering from the original trailer. But what did you think of it?
I thought it looked pretty sick. I mean, based on what we were shown, it really looks like he's kind of starting this mutation, which is why it makes sense why he's going to be talking to Bruce Banner. And I was shocked from the appearance of the trailer. It looks like we're getting the old Hulk back. We're not getting like the I'm a
Oof,
smart guy, too nice kind of Hulk. Like, I want the badass Hulk back again.
same.
We got the Punisher. I like the scene it showed with him like fighting the Hand. That looked pretty sick with all the red guys and stuff.
hmm
But it still kept a little bit of mystery because we still don't really know who the villain of this movie is.
Yeah, it seems like so based on the way this one was edited. Now I don't know if that's intentional to throw you off or if they're telling you that Sadie Sink's character is the main villain because it looked clear in this trailer that she is the one who's taking control of people. And in that moment when we see Hulk turn and he turns on Spider Man and starts trying to fight Spidey, it looks like Sadie Sink's character, like when she does her arms up and that whole thing, that Hulk changes in that moment. So it looks like she takes control, or whoever the main villain is, takes control of the Hulk's mind and makes him snap. And so that's kind of what it looked like. I don't know if that's just tricky editing, which I hope it is, because if they spoil what it is in the trailer, I'll be so pissed off. But it looks freaking nuts. Like it looks like Spidey's new powers look insane. You see the close up of his webbing coming out of his hand in the suit, like the natural webbing, fucking wild. Then they show him doing that diving like down to the ground and spiraling and shooting webs everywhere as he's spinning to the ground and capturing like all the hand fighters. I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome. And it kind of reminded me of Spider-Man 3 when Toby gets the Venom suit and gets like more powerful and he's also struggling with controlling his new power and like the way it's corrupting his mind. It's kind of similar here in that Spidey's clearly he's having that like mutation. It's almost like he's becoming a real spider when his eyes go black like that. And so it'll be really interesting to see how he manages this new power and how he can prevent it from warping his own mind. Because in the trailer, he's like, I'm struggling with my control. Like his self control is getting a lot weaker in this one. So it'll be crazy to see how that impacts him in this movie. It looks fucking sick when he's fighting the Scorpion. Dude, I'm like, holy shit. And it looks like we're gonna get Punisher team up with Spidey against the Hand, the Hulk, and whoever the hell that main villain is. So I'm hoping we see other like little street level villains pop up as well. That would make it a lot of fun. It would feel like the Spider-Man video games. It'd be pretty sick. But moving on from Spidey, we also got this is a big one. This one happened literally just this morning. Chainsaw Man Assassin's Arc teaser was released today, and it
Let's
looked
fucking go.
sick, dude. So, what did you think about this little teaser?
Dude, it looks sick. I love the American flag that was in there too. We're going international
Hell
now,
yeah,
baby. It's gonna be sick.
insane! What are you most excited to see in this new season?
I mean, we read the manga, so I don't want to ruin anything. Of course,
Well, like
we'll be
to
covering
see
it
it.
here. Um, I think because I don't know where this season is gonna leave off. Are we gonna see the Gun Devil in this one? We might see the Gun
Uh,
Devil or the
mm,
Darkness Devil. Not
maybe.
to ruin anything. I'm really excited for the Darkness Devil if it's there,
Mm,
but I'm honestly just excited to be back, which is crazy because I feel like we just left
I know.
because how we covered it,
For
you know.
real. Yeah.
But I'm excited to be back in Denji's world, man, with that dog Makima,
Me
you
too.
know, and of course Power is always my favorite, and
Oh, hell
Aki's
yeah.
always getting the short end of the stick. But
Sure.
our trio's back, baby. So which is crazy because, like I just said, and you just said, you know, we just left and took like a bit of a reprieve, and we'll be stepping back in later. So, what
Hell
about
yeah.
you? What are you excited for, Kurt?
Yeah, I know it's a little bit of spoiler for people who haven't read the manga, but I'm excited to see Santa Claus and Kwang Shi. I think that's how you say her name. Her creepy ass fiend girlfriends in
Oh
action.
yeah.
Halloween, Halloween. I can't wait to see that. I think that's going to be so sick. So just the teaser too. The animation looks like it just leveled up to a whole other stratosphere in this one. So it looks like it's going to be absolutely insane. Cannot wait to watch that one. And we also got, keeping with the anime theme here, this one's right up your alley, Chase. I still am not caught up yet. I will, hopefully, eventually. But Jujutsu Kaisen Season 4 Culling Game Arc Part 2 teaser was also released today within minutes of the Chainsaw Man teaser as well. So did you get a chance to check that out? And like, what did you think about it?
I did. It looks sick, man. It's gonna be awesome. So, not to ruin anything because you got to watch it, but
Yeah.
Culling Games Part One was fucking amazing. Was fucking great.
Yeah.
So you get to see a lot of characters from the past come back. It's not as much focused on Gojo. You know, Gojo's my fucking boy, man.
Mhm.
And they have been talking. The rumor is because after Cullen Games is Gojo versus Sukuna. So Sukuna, a lot of people don't know, he's the voice of Sukuna is the voice of Tengen Azui in Demon Slayer, and the
Mm.
voice of Gojo is actually the voice of Sanemi Shinizawa, the Wind Hashira in Demon Slayer.
That's cool.
But the big showdown, which is kind of like, you know, in Demon Slayer, I guess that would kind of be. This is more of like the Akaza Tanjiro kind of thing, or Rengoku Akaza, right? So the one after Culling Games is going to be Gojo versus Sukuna, and they're saying they're going to make that a movie, which I think is going to be really sick to see. So, which is crazy because now JJK is getting to the spot where they're going to start doing the Demon Slayer stuff. So this is probably like the last full season we're going to get of JJK, and then you know, these really popular animes, even Chainsaw is doing this. You know, we get season 2 of Chainsaw, which is great, but they've started to mix in kind of these theatrical movies. But it looks sick, man. I'm really excited for it. But it's all kind of like right at the top of that build up, man. We're starting to. It's kind of sad. Like the new gen anime is even kind of coming to an end here, hitting their peak. So, but it's exciting too because still got a lot of the ride left. So strap in your seatbelts.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I got to catch up. So hopefully one day.
Oh, you
Hopefully.
will. We'll get there
I'm sure.
eventually.
I'm
Give it
sure we'll
time.
cover it at some point. So then we got Shrek 5 teaser. Yeah, baby. Shrek is back. What did you think about this one? Do you
Donkey.
how do you
Donkey's
feel
back.
about Donkey's back? How do you feel about the updated animation style in the trailer? There's a lot of controversy over this.
That was kind of weird.
Mhm.
At first, I think I was getting more used to it as I watched the trailer. I
Mhm.
think Donkey stands out more.
Yeah,
Like
he looks older.
because I can't even
Weird.
say it looked like stop motion before. Before it looked like almost like you had stuffed animals running across a screen. Is kind of what it looked like.
Definitely was not stop motion, but I think
Yeah, I don't know how to describe
it didn't have. I think it just didn't have as much realism before
Yeah,
because it's fantasy. It shouldn't
that's
be.
a good point.
And I think this one it looks a lot more real. Like
Yeah.
it like Shrek now looks like they took Mike Myers' face and stuck it on Shrek's head, and it looks too real. And like Donkey looks older because of the realism. It's weird.
Yeah, it really does. But I'm excited for it. It looked like a really cool story.
It
Like
looks
a,
funny. The trailer I thought was funny as shit. Gingy's
you
like,
know,
I'm all
we
caked up like a bakery. And he's got the
yeah,
gumdrops
you
on
know
his
we
ass.
we didn't see in the trailer like the dragon much. Doesn't he have like dragon
He
children?
does, but there was they
Donkeys?
released a picture as well, and there's a photo of him. It's like it looks like a family portrait on the wall. It's hilarious of him, the dragon, and his donkey dragon babies in this portrait, and it looks hilarious. And
Oh,
did
that's
you
great.
see in the trailer in the teaser the Olaf reference?
No, no, I think I missed it.
Oh
Oh
my
no, I
god,
saw the snowman, but I didn't
it was
realize
making
that
fun
was
of
an
Olaf, dude.
Olaf
He's
reference.
like, you ever want to date a snowman?
Oh, that's what that was from.
Yeah, like, do you
I
want to
just
build a
thought it was
snowman?
weird.
Except he's like a creepy alleyway prostitute in this one, like a male prostitute. You ever
God.
date a snowman? All right, so also reportedly, The Grinch 2 is in development with Ron Howard set to return as director, and Jim Carrey is in talks to return as well. Jim discussed how, with the new motion capture technology, he would be able to do a lot more with the character since he could barely even breathe in the original prosthetics from the first movie. But this is a weird one. So, like, how do you think they could even make a Grinch sequel? Like, what would that story? What would that even look like? I mean, how do you make a sequel to The Grinch?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you kind of got to really go off the rails in your own way and really create something here. It'd be great to see him back in it. But to address a couple things is the CGI, I feel like it would make it kind of strange because we saw how authentic he looked in the original and it's become such a classic for all of us that are now grown. And, you know, Cindy Lou Who, Taylor Momsen, that's now the lead singer of the Pretty Reckless. I mean, she's not 5 anymore. I don't know how you can make a Grinch without her in it. And I mean,
I
you
don't
know,
know.
she's in a not a gothic rock band, but like a punk rock band, which
Mhm.
is very edgy and alternative style. I don't
Yeah.
know how like people's minds would adjust to that. So I don't know. And I don't know how the CGI would come across. However, with Jim Carrey being in line to do it, I mean, he's the one you would really define as like, you can't do this without him. Maybe they can do it. I don't know. I just think you're going to have to really kind of be creative, is
Yeah,
what you're going to have to do.
I don't even know what the story would be because I've always been curious about a sequel to The Grinch. I would like to see The Grinch being a good version of himself within Whoville, and I think maybe that's what we'd see. And then does something happen that turns him evil again? It's like the reverse Grinch. I don't know. Or maybe there's a new Grinch in town. Like I'm not sure what they would do with this. It's very odd. But if Ron Howard is directing again and Jim Carrey is back, I will see it because The Grinch is one of the greatest movies ever. And that was one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life with what Jim Carrey did in The Grinch. So if he's back and it is truly the same people coming back for a sequel, I would be very curious to see where they go with it. But I cannot, in my mind, think of a valid reason to make a sequel other than people just want to see The Grinch again. But I worry, as we talked about many times, about them making sequels of movies that don't seemingly have a clear reason to make a sequel, that they turn into shit and then it ends up ruining the legacy of the first one. So it's dangerous. So I'm a little nervous about that one, but also very curious. But then today, Toy Story 5 has officially released, which I am going to see later on tonight at 8:30 in IMAX. Cannot fucking wait. And it has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, with reviews praising it as one of the best sequel films ever made. And they said this is arguably like, because most of the time you think, did they need to make a sequel? Is this really necessary? But a lot of people are saying in this case, yeah, it actually was. And we're going to get more of Jesse's story, which is something I think a lot of people have been wanting to see, is more Jesse. And it seems like Jesse is the main character in this one. But with Toy Story 5 releasing, Toy Story is the highest rated franchise ever on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like kind of mind blowing. But when you go look at the scores, every single one is above a 90%. I think that Toy Story 4 was the lowest at like 90. And it is just an unbelievable legacy that this franchise has been able to keep running, and then to make a fifth one and have it still be excellent and all the reviews be excellent for it, so impressive. I mean, really, like this is Pixar's magnum opus, truly. I mean, the Toy Story franchise is perfection. And then we have Evil Dead Burn, which comes out in July of this year. But Sam Raimi has also announced that Evil Dead Wrath, the next film in the franchise after Burn comes out, will be set in 1972. That's a decade before the original film was set. It will have the look and the feel of the Ektachrome film stock from that era that will look grainy and have a really warm looking temperature to it. So it's going to end up being like a prequel of sorts, which sounds fucking awesome. I cannot wait for that. Evil Dead is one of my favorite franchises. And Evil Dead Burn, the trailer for that looks unbelievable. So if they're going to go back and make a prequel in the cabin, go back into the woods in the cabin where it all started before the original, I'm all in for it. It's going to be fucking sick. So then we have a massive update. So this is a story we have been talking about for a long time. We kind of took a break from it because it sort of slowed down after all the major news came out, but now there's more major news on it, and that is the U.S. Justice Department has officially approved the Paramount and Warner Bros. Merger. The U.S. Justice Department has approved the $111 billion merger uniting Warner Bros. Discovery and Paramount Skydance. The DOJ's antitrust division cleared the deal without requiring any divestitures or concessions, allowing the two historic media giants to combine their film studios, CNN, and streaming platforms HBO Max and Paramount Plus. That's unbelievable. They didn't have to actually cut any arms off and sell them away in order to make this deal. So it's pretty amazing work by their lawyers, I would say. But the tie-up combines Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount into a massive entertainment entity with approximately 200 million streaming subscribers. The Justice Department officials determined the transaction does not pose a threat to competition. However, states think otherwise. Several state attorney generals and consumer advocacy groups have expressed opposition and are considering filing antitrust lawsuits to block the merger. California, New York, and 10 other states are suing for antitrust concerns. The transaction is currently facing intense regulatory reviews abroad as well, particularly from the European Union and the UK. And so with all of that going on, though, somehow the executives are aiming to officially close this massive acquisition, get it all wrapped up by September. Do you think, Chase, that this will actually happen by September?
Being realistic, no. I don't think it's happening by September. I think they're going to try, but with anything this big, like I remember even like a small thing, which we thought was huge at the time, like when Disney bought Star Wars or when HBO bought Discovery, even when those small things happen, which we thought was huge at the time, there was a lot of adversity with that slowed it down. I think September's really ambitious. I think that's that's very ambitious, but
yeah,
that's almost less than 4 months from today for something this massive. So, I mean, I think it'd be awesome if it would happen, but I think also the fact that you have the European Union and the UK that's not really happy. I think you're going to have some delays there. Like, I don't think it's going to be as smooth of a transition as possible. Like, I think the problem is too, you almost got to be diplomatic in a way with these type of mergers because it's such a big merge, and whether you like it or not, It is true. It does affect like Netflix's competition or Disney's competition or Amazon's because like from a I guess a platform perspective, you've merged two massive companies that now people are debating, well, maybe I should cancel their subscription because I'll be offered more on this platform. So, from an outside perspective, I think you're always going to have big adversity with something this big. So, I hope it works out. I really do. I just think September is really ambitious to get everything
Yeah,
tied with a bow.
yeah, I agree. I just don't see how, with all the scrutiny and now states adding in their lawsuits, that all of this is going to slow it down. And then international scrutiny with the European Union, with the UK, I think that the likelihood of getting this done by September is shrinking by the day. And if more states jump on this lawsuit, there's just no way. But maybe they're able to do it. Maybe by some miracle, they're able to close this thing and finally put an end to all this chaos. And then we'll see what happens with the streaming services. But it sounds like they're going to just merge, and it's going to be like a Disney Plus Hulu situation where you can access both Hulu and Disney Plus on Disney Plus. So it's probably going to be something similar to that, which could be interesting. But you know, inevitably, that the cost of HBO Max will now go way up because it's going to combine the two, and or Paramount Plus, whichever one, you know. So that's an interesting story, but we'll keep an eye on that one and see if it actually does close by September. And see if any new states maybe want to hop on that lawsuit too. It's kind of wild. But you know, you'd expect New York and California to be leading the way in terms of that. That makes sense to me. I'm surprised Georgia hasn't, but maybe they see it as fair because Georgia's like the new Hollywood. But you know, but we have another crazy. Yeah, it's wild, dude. We have another
rat poison. Sorry, I had to say it.
rat poison. We have another huge topic, though, another acquisition. So Fox Corporation is going all in on streaming now. They say they will buy Roku in a deal worth more than $22 billion. According to Fox and Roku, the combined media company would be the third largest in TV viewership, which is kind of nuts. Shareholders clearly got nervous about the deal as the stock price for Fox dropped 16%, which makes it a 16-week low for the company. However, analysts believe it makes perfect sense for Fox to purchase Roku so they can push their strong library of content that Fox has through an already successful distribution and streaming chain that can scale their content even further. I mean, you have Roku TVs, you have the Roku boxes, then Roku has their own channels of like free TV through Roku TV or whatever. So kind of a crazy deal. What do you think about this one too?
This is interesting. And I don't know how much is kind of owned by the mother company, but you know the mother company is Disney when they bought Fox like all those years ago. But I mean, it could be good, I guess. I hope it works out for him. I just, from an outside perspective, I always try to look at like what's profitable and what's not. And maybe it's because I don't use, like, I used to have a Roku TV. Like, I guess from like products, it's really good. But nothing in my head screams like, I'm going to use Roku's service. So, like, I don't know how much Roku is really thriving right now. I kind of look at this more like, wow, like you just bought a big name. But what part of this, in your opinion, is really going to bring it profit? Because most people I look at, like, yeah, this was really big. Like, when you first thought of, like, those Rokus, like, oh, I got you a Roku stick. Well, now that's kind of built into every TV, or you have an Amazon stick. Like, no one that I know personally goes to, like, man, I can't wait to stream some Roku today. That sounds like a great idea. So I don't know.
Well, Roku is mainly the streaming devices. So they're buying access to Roku's massive audience already and all their customers that have and own Roku devices. So now that Fox can be like as one of the apps, so when you buy a Roku, certain apps are already pre-installed because they're the ones that are most popular. So now you'll see Fox as a pre-installed app, and whatever Fox's streaming content will be on there automatically. So I think they're seeing this as a way to distribute their content to a much broader audience immediately. I mean, all they're doing is buying up this company, which Roku just makes streaming boxes and streaming sticks, and now they also have their free cable TV through Roku. It's like their version of cable. So I think it's that. I think that they're seeing it as an opportunity to jump into all of these devices that Roku is very popular. I actually think Roku devices are better than the Amazon Fire Sticks. We have a Fire Stick. I fucking hate it, dude. It's like constantly disconnecting from the internet for no reason whatsoever. We try and turn the TV on and the thing doesn't even the Fire Stick randomly just won't turn on. I have to like unplug it, plug it back in. It's a whole mess. I think it has a lot of bugs. But the Roku devices are really smooth and they run really well. My parents have one. My sister had one back in the day. I think they're excellent. So I think this is a smart play for them because now they're going to own the products, the streaming products, as well as distributing their content. And I think that's how they're going to make their profit. So
that's a good point too.
Mm.
I think that's something a lot of people don't think about because now I think when we think about media being bought, you instantly think like, what can you watch? And that's kind of what I was referring to. They're like free cable, but then you don't think about like it's already going to be on the products when you buy it.
And the products themselves are going to bring them more money, more revenue, because there's Roku sold everywhere. So now they actually have the streaming boxes and the streaming sticks to go with it, and the smart TVs now to go with their content. So I think that's how they're going to make their money on that one. It's an interesting one for sure. So then we have a casting announcement. So Anya Taylor-Joy joins the cast of Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum, and she will be playing Seren, a Sindar elf of the Woodland Realm and a lethal agent of King Thranduil, the Elven King. So what are your thoughts on this casting? Do you think, like, this is actually an original character, which is really interesting. So this is not something that's within the lore and the canon of Lord of the Rings. So do you think she will actually be embraced as a new original character within this story? Like that, because this story is filled with other original characters who are truly canon. Now we get this new one who's like a super agent. And like, do you think this is actually going to be embraced? And do you think that's a good casting?
I think it'll be embraced because the storyline they're going for, there's really not much there. I mean, you're talking about maybe a page you're making a whole movie out of basically what was a paragraph.
Couple pages. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to go your own way on this, and to make an original character, I think that's perfect. A lot of people, they can look on our YouTube, but there's different types of elves. Like Sindarin would be a Sindar elf, is like what Legolas is, versus like someone that's like Galadriel, way high up. So to be kind of like that agent is kind of cool. And Anya Taylor-Joy has been fucking killing it in everything. One, she kind of looks like that. Like
they don't need to do makeup.
Yeah,
she already looks like an elf.
Perfect. Yeah. Anything that's like an elf or like a witch or something, like she's
perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And she's been crushing it and everything lately. She's going to be in the new Dune movie coming out with Robert Pattinson's in that too.
Yeah.
So she's been in a lot of things. And I think something about Anya Taylor-Joy, like when she's on screen, it something about like her presence in fantasy like elevates the movie. I don't know how to explain that.
She's captivating.
No. Yeah, and I guess people are going to be like, "Well, that's because you think she's hot." Well, she is, but but at the same time,
Gooner alert!
Gooner alert, man.
She's just a really great actor. Good. Like she's a fantastic actor, and she's captivating. And her look is so unique. You don't really see anyone like her in Hollywood, so I think that really plays into it. She becomes whoever she's playing as in a way that is pretty unique. So I think that's how she just really like kind of sucks you in to the scenes that she's in.
For sure. Yeah. What are your thoughts on her?
Yeah, I worry about original characters being implanted into stories with characters that people know and love for so long. And I do have some concerns about where they're going to go with this character. Is she going to end up being the main hero in this character or in this story like they usually end up doing with these original characters like her. I If they do that, I think it'll be a problem. I think people will be really pissed off. But if she's like a cool addition, she's an ass kicker, and she's like a sneaky agent, a spy for whatever's going on in this movie, then I think she could be embraced. But I think that there's some inherent risk there of just adding in a new character to a story full of canon characters that people have loved for forever. So I think it's obviously, as with all things, it's a wait and see, but I do think there's some risk there. But great choice for the casting. I think that's fantastic. She fits perfectly in Lord of the Rings. So then we have a Halloween Horror Nights announcement. You know, Halloween Horror Nights is it's our favorite event of the year. So they announced Stranger Things season 5 coming to Halloween Horror Nights. So Stranger Things is back again. What do you think about this? Do you like it? Are you annoyed with it? Are you like, ugh, whatever? How do you feel about it?
I think it's kind of cool if they do it right. Like I've always wanted to see a Stranger Things house of like Vecna's realm
Hmm.
with the clock tower and everything. So I think if it's like that, that could be fucking sick. Now, if you're gonna throw some bullshit again, like maybe you're gonna throw in a Demogorgon and then
Of
some
course they're going to
like
be in there.
people running around in the woods, that's just some bullshit. Like, do it right. Do what we've been wanting to see for season 5, like the actual upside down, like Vecna's fucking realm. But if you're gonna throw like a robot spider in there and like make it look like some mountains and
The
in the
Mind Flayer.
woods, like fuck that, dude. Like, do this shit right. But I think it could be great. It's either gonna be really good or it's going to be just another one of those houses that's like, wow, this is a big blockbuster house, but we can skip it this year.
Yeah, you know, as much as I love Stranger Things, I did not like season 5. I thought it was poorly written and very rushed and poorly done in so many ways. I am not that excited for this because I'm like, the season 5 was pretty wide open. There weren't a lot of, small intimate scenes in there that could be scary. This is more like, wide open expanses in Henry's mind, and like in the desert, and then you have the town. It's like the big town, but it's encased or with the military, and so I think it's a lot of open spaces that'll be a little bit weird. I think it's going to be a massive house. Just based on the set pieces that were in season 5, I think it's going to be one of those like the set pieces are huge. But then if you remember when they did the last Stranger Things house and you go into the room with Elle, and she's got her hand up against the portal and like closing the portal, and that was so dumb. And they had like the birds flying. It was just a giant fucking screen that you're walking around. I'm like, this is so stupid. So I hope they don't do that shit again. But it has potential. Like if you go, if they show, if the whole thing is done in the upside down, that'd be sweet. Or if it's like you're walking through the scenes where the Demogorgons are taking the children, like that could be cool, seeing them coming through the ceiling or pulling someone through the ceiling. You could add in a lot of unique effects there. But I'm just like, I think it's going to be another people eater. I think that's a positive of it. The IPs this year are just fucking wild. So I mean, you have Sinners and you have Stranger Things 5 now. They're going to be massive crowd bringers and also hopefully massive people eaters so that the original houses are left for the ones who truly love Halloween Horror Nights and have been going for forever. So I'm like, with this one, but it's only 3 announcements so far, so there's still plenty more to go. They have 10 houses total, so we still got 7 more to go. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for those. Then we've got some more Dungeon Crawler Carl news. So it's in development at Peacock with Universal International Studios and Seth MacFarlane's Fuzzy Door banner producing. Matt Dinniman, the author, is also an executive producer. And the writer for it is Chris Yost, who helped write The Orville and Thor Ragnarok. That one we can probably throw aside, but The Orville is really good. People love The Orville. Ignore Thor Ragnarok. So this is going to be kind of wild. I mean, we talked about this before a while back in one of our episodes. What would we like to see adapted into a movie, like our favorite properties? And I said at the time, I would love to see Dungeon Crawler Carl get made into a movie or show, however they're going to do it. But I was like, I don't know how they're going to do it because what happens in these books is so fucking crazy. The budget will have to be massive, and they'll have to do an amazing job with CGI, or it could look really bad. So but I was like, this just to me screams like something that people would love to see. And of course, now they're making it, which is fucking awesome. So, like, which book are you on, Chase, right now?
I'm still on the second book. So, but it's good.
Mm.
Princess Donut is my favorite. I love my donuts. But I love it so far. I'm actually I took your recommendation. Instead of actually reading them, I'm doing the audiobooks just because I
They're
wanted the
great.
full effect of like
Hmm.
the aliens and the sounds of the voices and stuff. And it is fucking awesome, man. And I know the most recent book just came out like a few weeks ago. It's like a Parade of Horribles or something like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, man. What about you? What book are you on?
I'm on book six, book five, or book six. One, I can't remember which one it is. But it's the Butcher's Masquerade. Which one is that? Is that let's see. Yeah, I think it's the fifth book. It is the fifth book. So I have the fifth, and it's just so good. Like I cannot. I obviously I'm trying to take my time with them, but I'm listening to the audiobooks as well, and it's just so like the audiobook brings you into a whole other level because reading it I'm sure is amazing as well. But the audiobook, you get the full sound effects. It feels like you're watching a movie when you listen to the audiobook almost. And I feel like it just brings you in this type of story and everything that happens in it and how it's kind of like a video game. It lends itself so well to the audiobook that I think on screen this will be freaking nuts. They just have to nail the castings properly, which I was trying to think of, and I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Like, who would I like to play Carl? Who you think would play Carl? And it's hard to think about who could do this, but I feel like Alan Richson would be an interesting one because he's huge, and like Carl's just like a fucking he's like a former Coast Guard or he's like a big ass dude. So I think he'd be a good one. And then people are talking about Patrick Warburton's son is apparently actually trying out for the role of Crawler Carl.
That's cool.
So I'm like,
That's
that could
cool.
be interesting. I guess the voice, because when you listen to the audiobook and you hear his voice, it'll be hard for me to see someone on screen without the voice from the audiobook, but
Yeah.
I think that could be an interesting one. But yeah, dude, it's like I'm excited. Cannot wait for this one. There's no more information about it. We have no idea when it's coming out, just that it's in production. So
They're actually, what's crazy is they just released in the first book form like a graphic novel for
yeah, I
it.
saw that.
So that's
Sick.
crazy. So now you have all these different ways you can experience the series, but yeah, at some point in life, add it way down the road, but that'd be a cool one to cover here on Talk Fantasy to Me podcast because it's an amazing
That would be a
series.
beast because like these newer books are over 800 pages, 700 pages. They're
Yeah.
huge, and there's just so much in it. It's insane. The writers Matt Dinniman is a genius. I don't know how he wrote this thing. So let's move on here to the final topic, and it's a doozy. We have a sort of gaming renaissance occurring again. So we have Kingdom Hearts 4 coming out. It was finally announced, and we got little bits of information from uh, James Woods, who said he may or may not be returning, which means he is as Hades. So we'll see Hades again in Kingdom Hearts 4. Then we have Zelda Ocarina of Time getting a remaster officially announced, getting remastered for the Switch 2, and they released the teaser, and it looks fucking incredible. Then you have Backyard Baseball, which is being revamped, and that comes out on July 9th. I got to play the demo of that, and it is amazing. It is so much fun. Cannot wait for that one to come back. And then we have Rockstar that just announced yesterday that GTA 6 will be available for pre order on June 25th. So that means that GTA 6 is actually going to hit its release date, at least according to this, which is in November. I think it's November 19th when it gets released. So pretty insane. Which of these are you most anticipating? Like, which one sticks out to you?
You know what's crazy? Because all of these are some of my top. These are all really my top favorite franchises and top favorite games. But unfortunately, it's an absolute no contest, and I got to be careful the way I say it. but Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like this fucking game was my childhood.
Yeah.
I still remember opening it when I was a kid. You know, I got it for I think like my birthday one year, and I unwrapped it, and I still remember it in the box where it had like the big Z for Zelda and the sword, and I didn't even realize what it was at first, and then you go through the whole game, and you got the awards from each of the like trees you had to go through first before you turned into an adult, and then you had to go through the temples. Dude, it was fucking amazing. This game is a fucking work of art. This is the only game I will watch all the time people do speed runs
Mhm.
through just as I'm doing work in the back, just because it takes me back to that moment in time. So,
Yeah.
see what I did there? How punny.
Hilarious, that
So
moment in time.
yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that one, but honestly, I'm looking forward to all of them. I'll just put second right close. It was coming close, trying to come close, but it really can't. Would be Kingdom Hearts 4, and that's because like middle school, my favorite franchise of all time is Kingdom Hearts. 1 and 2 were absolutely amazing. So
Yeah.
that's always going to be close to me. So those two, but unfortunately Ocarina of Time like soared past all four. But and the other two are great as well. So that's a tough race.
It is. It's an unbelievable time if you're into video games, especially if you grew up in the 90s, to see that coming back and then seeing Backyard Baseball making its return. And it from the demo I played, it's the same game, better graphics, better optimized, updated everything, but it's dude, and the demo is really just a home run derby. But oh my god, I'm so addicted to it. I'm like, holy shit. When this game fully comes out, I'm not going to be able to play anything else. So it's kind of for me. It's funny. Ocarina of Time and Backyard Baseball are kind of like this. I I feel the same way you do about Ocarina of Time, and seeing that teaser and the graphics of it. Oh my god, the enhanced graphics on it on the Switch too. You're like, no more polygons and like all the pixels and
Yeah,
shit.
dude.
It looks like a legitimate 3D animated game now, and which is gonna it's gonna be like a brand new experience. I mean, it's not even gonna feel like the same game when you play it. So I think that is incredible. It's going to make you feel like a kid again. You're going to get a chance to see this game with all new eyes. And I think that is something to be very excited about. So I'm right there with you. You got to get yourself a Switch too so you can get it.
Dude, I might have to get a Switch too. You know what's
Yeah.
crazy is they said Kingdom Hearts is coming to the Switch
It
too.
is, yeah. Nintendo
Kingdom Hearts
Direct
4.
and did a little Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. The most recent Nintendo Direct, they did a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. So it's
Which is
coming to
crazy
Nintendo.
because Kingdom Hearts was a PlayStation thing for
It
a
was,
while.
but it's coming to I think all of them. It's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, which is
That's crazy.
wild. Nintendo makes sense to me for sure with Kingdom Hearts. I think that like
Yeah.
that game fits. It seems like it would be a Nintendo game, but PlayStation, yeah, originally it was. So pretty insane. It's gonna
And
be
is
fun.
Backyard Baseball is it just going to be for computers like the old one?
It's on
Or
Steam, so
okay.
mostly computers, but I think there's a way to access it otherwise. But you can play like if you get that Steam box, their new console, you can play it on there. But they have you can connect your controller to your computer. At least if you have a computer that doesn't explode, you can connect your controllers to your computer, and then you can play it like a controller. Like because they now have actual controls for a controller. Which before it was all on the computer. You had to buy the disc and put the disc in and play some backyard baseball. And it's so much fucking fun. I cannot wait for it. That comes out on July 9th, which I will be buying it day one, of course. And then we have, of course, GTA 6. Like, how could you not be excited for that? But dear God, man, that game, we'll get to that in a second, but like it sounds insane. Like, do you think we're gonna get a Majora's Mask revamp as well? Like now that they've given us we know now we're getting the Ocarina of Time. Do you think Majora's Mask is the next one to get a huge remaster?
I think we very well could. I mean, I'm actually shocked that Ocarina of Time finally got a remake when people were begging for it after all these years. There were people that were literally making, I've seen on YouTube, like fake games that fit in between Ocarina of Time and
Oh, I've
Majora's
seen those.
Mask
Yeah.
just to like I guess get the vibe again because it's been so long,
Yeah.
which is interesting because they were like real games but not like actually
People
real,
were
like they were made
remastering
by a
it using
person.
using AI and making it look
Yeah, I don't know.
amazing with
It's
like
crazy.
next gen graphics. I'm like, holy shit, they need to do that. That would look so good. Yeah.
So sick.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we could. I think it's going to be really interesting all the Zelda stuff we get because the show's coming out. We've already got some teasers at Epic Universe. Now we're getting a remake of what arguably could be said is the most popular Zelda game of all time.
That and Majora's
So
Mask.
yeah, and damn. And the problem is like then remaking Twilight Princess, I feel like it's almost too soon for Twilight Princess, but
And that had
that's
like,
hard to
I'm not
say.
going to say next generation graphics, but it was
Yeah.
more the 3D Wii graphics, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I think it's a little bit different. It'd be easier for them to remaster that, but remastering these Nintendo 64 polygon pixelated messes to modern 3D graphics is kind of like so mind blowing that I think when you play this again, you're going to be like, this is not the same game. It's not going to feel the same,
Yeah.
but
And
in a
I
good
think we
way.
should and the thing that kind of started this is at least a cool note to put in here. Final Fantasy kind of started this remake thing
Oh
with
my
Final
God.
Fantasy 7.
They're
And
remastering everything.
they did Final Fantasy 7 the remake and then they did Rebirth and I know like the newest one is going to be coming out as well.
Hmm.
So that's a whole nother thing too, like that franchise. So if you're into video games, you are going to be eating good for a while,
Well,
especially fantasy video games specifically.
yeah.
And then, of course, 90s. Yeah.
Well, and then with GTA 6 coming out.
Mhm.
So, like, do you think that GTA 6 will be the biggest game release of all time? Because right now, it's slated for release on November 19th. And the game is expected to eclipse previous records set by its predecessor, with industry analysts estimating up to $2.7 billion in economic impact during its initial window. Do you think that that's a fair estimate? Like, do you think this could be the biggest release of all time?
It very well could. I mean, think about how long it's been. I remember buying GTA 5, its predecessor,
Yeah.
at midnight on the college program in 2013 for the Xbox 360, I
Yeah, or the
think is what I had
PS3.
then.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
had it on.
Think about how long it's been and how they've been
Two
talking about this
generations
game
of
for so
systems.
long.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it very well could be. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, these are like everything we've talked about here. These games, even Final Fantasy that's going on now, like these are blockbuster
Hmm.
fucking franchises. This isn't like, this is some new side game from Squaresoft. Or like, like ESPN made a new basketball game. Like this is like games that have been in the works for years
Hmm.
and they're all like kind of coming out around the same time. So that's fucking crazy, man. I'm stoked.
I believe it will easily be the biggest game release of all time. Just based on everything that they've shown about it so far, the realism in this game is kind of like terrifying. The things that you can do in this game, you can legitimately like start off as like a smaller dude and then you can go to the gym and work out and do actual weightlifting, like with dumbbells and bench press and like you can do all of it and you're actually doing it and your character will get buff and bigger as you work out more. Like in the real world. It's like people are going to lose their actual real lives because they're going to be spending all of their time building their fake character's life in GTA 6. It's going to like eradicate the ability for people or the want for people to go outside. They're just going to be like, no, I got to get my character buff as shit. I'm going to make him strong and good at everything. Like it's going to be just bizarre. And there's no wonder it took so long to be made because if this is true, like this is going to be the biggest game of all time. So the game is so big, it will reportedly take 25 to 40 minutes to travel across the entire map by car. And it'll take 4 to 5 hours walking across the entire map and 7 to 10 minutes flying in an airplane. If that tells you anything
That
and how
is
fucking
crazy.
huge this map will be, it's so big. It has the entirety of Vice City as a singular location in this game. So GTA Vice City is an it's that was a whole game. I mean, all you got was Vice City. The entirety of Vice City is in this game as a travelable location. Just one
That's
location. Like
insane.
in my mind, how will consoles even fucking run this video game? Like seriously, they might explode because the size of that thing, consoles were struggling with Elden Ring because it was so huge. And how the hell are they going to optimize a game like this with the graphics that they have in this one and the size of it? I feel like there's potential for it to absolutely annihilate people's consoles, like for real.
That's crazy. And you know what's crazy? It was I was like in middle school when Vice City came out.
Yeah,
And I remember that was like the first one where you could go see the strippers. I think like
yeah,
I think
physically sit in a strip club.
I
Yeah,
think my mom got it. I think I've told you this before. And like my aunt came over and she was like, "You better not have Grand Theft." And I like
yeah.
put it in and you had like the blocked polygon
Yes.
stripper
Oh my God, they're like on the
around the
pole.
pole.
Yeah, with their polygon titties.
Dude, San Andreas was good too, man. Vice City and San Andreas, those were like my games. I
Like, and
didn't
it,
play as much like Liberty City Stories or one or two or
I played
the
that one
side
because
ones.
I had the PSP,
Yeah.
and so Liberty City was on the PSP, and so I had that one back in the day. It was so much fun, dude. Playing Grand Theft Auto on the go, nothing like it. So
Dude,
it
that's
this is just outrageous, though, man. I just don't know how consoles are going to handle it. Like, I feel like you're going to need the PlayStation 5 Pro model to play this for real because the download file alone is going to take up your entire storage space on your PlayStation. So you either have to have a super high powered PC or like the top of the line PlayStation 5 Pro, which I don't have. I have the regular PlayStation 5, so I could be cooked on this one, but we'll see. It'll be worth the risk.
your PlayStation 5 is gonna sound like my computer
Yeah,
that
it's gonna
needs
sound like a fucking
replacing.
jet plane taking off. Oh,
Dude, this could just be like the way they're kind of teasing us the PlayStation 6. They're like, if
it
you
could
want
be.
your Grand Theft Auto 6 to work properly, you're gonna have to buy the PlayStation
And
6.
it's amazing because they are already building it and like it's supposedly going to be coming out soon, relatively soon, the PlayStation 6. I'm like, dude, you guys just released the 5 not that long ago. So slow down here a little bit. I get scared. I'm like, our console's going to become like cell phones. Every year you're going to get a new one and have to replace it. That would just piss me off. So I
Oh,
hope they don't do
probably.
that.
You know, I
Yeah.
never got a PlayStation 5, which is like fucked up because then I almost bought the Pro. But then the Pro came out so much later. I was like, I might as well wait for the fucking 6 at this point. Like,
I
what's the
mean,
fucking point?
it's crazy. You got to get a PS5 and a Switch 2 if you want to take advantage of all these new games coming out. What are you going to do?
Like I said, I'm going to enjoy it. My wallet will not, though.
Yeah.
That's
We
what am
got
I going to do? Looks like I got to earn some money with that gambling,
put all of it
baby.
towards a new console.
What
We
if
got
you
the
could
Switch
gamble
2
in
around
GTA
Christmas.
6? Like go to
Yeah.
Vegas in GTA
Yeah.
6? Like I want to put some fake money on this.
I'm trying to buy a new PlayStation to buy GTA 6 by gambling. I think that like we got the Switch 2 around Christmas time, dude. It's amazing. I love it. It's so much fun. And
Yui loves
it's
the
worth it.
Switches. Like she has the Switch 1 and she loves I don't know why. She's like really tied to that thing cuz you can like take it to go
Because it's like an
too or
old school
something, right?
Game Boy.
Yeah. Like
That's
she
kind of how
even
it feels.
keeps the thing like we have like on our bookshelf, she has like the controller on a rack where she keeps it almost like a museum display piece and then takes it off and then plays
The
it.
dock.
So
She
yeah,
doesn't have
the
the dock.
thing.
Okay.
She
For the
does, but
TV.
she bought like a special. Have you heard of like Miffy? It's like this
Yeah, I know
little
what those are.
rabbit thing.
Yeah.
She has like a Miffy stand for it that goes next to like our book display. So she displays it almost like a game piece and then takes it off and then plays
That's
it.
why the Switch is so much. The games are so much fun, and then like the console itself is just so cool and unique because you can play it handheld, like you would play a Game Boy. And so now, like Nintendo Online, they have all of the classic old school Nintendo games on there too. So they added in GameCube games. So now you can play like Soul Calibur and
That's cool.
Mario Strikers. And then they have all the old school NES games and Nintendo 64 games. And they have Game Boy. Pokemon is on there now. They have two of the Pokemon games on the Game Boy Nintendo Online. So you can play that on your Switch
That's cool.
like you're playing the Game Boy again. So there's just so much to it. And the games are so addicting. Nintendo just has a way to get in your brain and consume it.
And before we close out, I'll say this about Nintendo. I think they've done something special with they have figured out a way to captivate families where I think the other kind of systems and companies could do a little bit better with that. Like I've always been a PlayStation guy, but for instance, and maybe he would, like little Johnny that's 4. If I was 4, yeah, I'd be playing GTA 6. But most families would be like, you're not
4?
playing GTA 6. You know what I mean? Like I feel like some like systems, they make games more for a certain audience.
Sure.
Whereas like Nintendo has really found a way to captivate families. And even crossing over to Kingdom Hearts here, we kind of saw how that would be on the Switch because they had that Super Smash Brothers reveal where like Sora was in Super Smash Brothers. So I think there's and it's interesting because it's like Disney. So that kind of goes into the whole family thing as well.
That's why I said it made a lot of sense, like for them to come to Nintendo, and then the Switch 2's graphics are really good, so it'll run smoothly on the Switch 2. Switch 2 is a bit of a beast. It's an underrated beast.
It's impressive, man. It's good stuff. But
yeah,
man. Any closing thoughts?
No,
just close us out for the day.
Happy to be back to these news episodes. Glad we got some new things to talk about, and thank you everyone for joining us in the Talk Fantasy to Me Tavern as we drop this latest news, and keep an eye out for more, as we'll, I'm sure, have much more to talk about in the future. But thanks for tuning in for this episode of Talk Fantasy to Me, a Ridiculous Productions podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us reach more listeners like you. Don't forget to like and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Ridiculous Productions for show updates and more content. Talk to you next time.
The tankard high, my friend, where tales and laughter never end. The fire roars, the ale does flow in this fine hall where spirits glow. Oh, sing a tune and clap your hands, we're the merriest lots in all the land. Through mead and wine our voices blend in the tavern's heart where nights transcend. The minstrel plays the lute so sweet, the maidens dance with nimble feet. A hurdy-gurdy hum so bright, we revel deep into the night. Oh, sing a tune and clap your hand, we're the merriest lots in all the land. Through mead and wine our voices blend in the tavern's heart where nights transcend. The barmaid laughs, her cheeks so red. She keeps the mugs and plates well fed. A raucous cheery rap so bold, as stories of old times are told. Oh, sing a tune and clap your hand, we're the merriest lots in all the land. Through mead and wine our voices blend in the tavern's heart where nights transcend. a tune and clap your hand. We're the merriest lots in all the land. Through mead and wine our voices blend in the tavern's heart where nights transcend.